Today on Inspiration Plus, we have an incredible and passionate woman. She is a girls' rights activist, motivational speaker, and philanthropist. Ekenia Chifamba Chidodo is a founding director of Shamwari Yemwanasikana, a Zimbabwean-based organization dedicated to championing girls' rights. She has been recognized locally and internationally for the work she does. So stay tuned to hear about the amazing work she's doing and the progress she's making in Zimbabwe. Thank you very much, Eke, for joining us on Yemu TV. We are looking forward to hearing all the great work about the great work that you are doing in Zimbabwe and the passion that you have for the girl child. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yemu, and thank you so much for inviting me on your show as well.
You're welcome. Tell us about yourself and the work you do.
Okay, so I'm Ekenia, and I'm a mother of two beautiful girls, and also married to my loving husband, Kevin. And I also am a member of the Anti-Domestic Violence Council of Zimbabwe, and I'm responsible for service provision here in Zimbabwe. And academically, I hold a Bachelor of Commerce in Human Resources with the Zimbabwe Open University, a higher national diploma in IT with the Expert Academy, and also I have done monitoring and evaluation with the World Children's Prize Foundation, Institute of Bankers of Zimbabwe, and also several certificates in counseling, governance, leadership, and also a bit of some social work. So that's Ekenia for you. Oh, and I am a girls and women's rights activist.
And what inspired you to start Shamwari Yemwanasikana?
I grew up in an environment where there was a lot of violation of women's and girls' rights in the high-density suburb of Chitungwiza here in Zimbabwe. And it was something that was really regarded as the norm. And I had one family whose story that I really remember very well. My dad owns a house in the high density of Chitungwiza, and we used to have a tenant who had 5 children, 4 girls and 1 boy. And this husband used to, beat his wife very often, and he used to abuse her very much. And then every other time when that would happen, she would share her story with neighbors, with people at the church, and then they would regard it as something that was really normal. And I remember very well, vividly, that when they came to stay at our house as our tenants, they had a set of 6 chairs and a table. And every other time they were involved in a fight with the husband would use the chairs to beat up the wife. And by the time they left our house, we stayed with them for more than 9 years. They did all the chairs and the table were not in one place. They had been destroyed due to the regular fights that they used to have. And also I traced where they went on to live. All the 4 girls, none of them finished school up to O level. They got married early. I'm sure they were running away from the ever violent attacks that were perpetrated on their mom. And also the guy, due to the daily activities that used to happen as well, was now a barber, and he got shot because he was involved in illegal drug dealings. And so these are the things that I would see on a daily basis growing up. And I felt that, if ever there was someone who was going to bring about change and ensure that women's and girls' rights are valued, and that women and girls are given the space to speak up, to share their views publicly, to be respected and be seen like equal counterparts with men, it would be somebody who has lived the situation, who's seen it, experienced it all. So I grew up very passionate about changing the lives of girls and women in Zimbabwe, but I felt it had to start from somewhere. So I had to start from where I grew up in, which was the dormitory town of Chitungwiza, where a lot happened: child marriages, sexual abuse, commercial sexual exploitation, and a lot of girls who never realized their dreams because they never had the opportunity to go to school. Even for some of them, they would just go up to grade 7 and that was it. They never had that opportunity, and the only way out was for them to get married. So I had to change that situation. That's how I started Shamwari Yemwanasikana. I mentioned earlier on that I was a banker. And from then onwards, I still felt the passion, that I could not do much being a banker. I had to move and join another non-governmental organization, which was centered also on girls' rights. And from then onwards, I also realized that there were still some gaps that existed, in our efforts to empower the girl child. So starting Shamwari Yemwanasikana was a way of ensuring that we are upholding girls' rights. But the girl child does not live in isolation. We had to engage everyone who's surrounding the girl child. If we were to ensure that we emancipate her wholly, we had to include the policymakers, we had to include the men and boys, we had to include the ordinary community members, and we had to have the girl child at the center of decision making. That's how I started Shamwari Yemwanasikana.
Wow, wow, wow. Very eloquently said. Thank you. And, what an inspiration. And when was Shamwari Yemwanasikana founded?
Shamwari Yemwanasikana was founded in 2013, and it was registered as a trust in 2014. And now we are just finalizing our registration as a PVO. So we are just awaiting our certificate when the board sits in March.
What have you achieved so far through this organization?
What we have managed to achieve so far, Yemo, as an organization, I can say we've managed to do quite a lot. The organization, like I highlighted, was legally registered in 2014. And since then, we've managed to do quite a lot. Maybe the viewers and listeners might also want to know that Shamwari Yemwanasikana started off in Mashonaland East, areas like Murewa, Mutoko, Marondera, and also Macheke, Wedza, Seke Rural. And then there were parts of Harare, the capital city. And in Harare, we had to choose the areas where we felt that there are some forgotten areas in Harare: Epworth, Mbare, Hopley, Stonebridge, Icod, settlements that were just put in place, and no one ever bothered to go back and check out on the living conditions of those people. We were also invited to come and operate in Mashonaland West, Makonde, Zimba, and the other areas. And we have a special program that we are running, which is funded by the World Children's Prize Program, that has also helped us to operate in areas like Nyanga. And this year we are also going to Bulawayo. And people would ask, why Bulawayo? Because Bulawayo is more talented in arts. So we want to use arts as a tool for dissemination of information. So what we have managed to do that I would term achievements to date are based on what we have also, programs that we have carried out in the areas that I have mentioned, and also beyond, because we don't work on our own. You might also want to know that the organization has managed to partner with quite a number of local coalitions, which are parts of our achievements as well. We are a member of the Women's Coalition of Zimbabwe, and we've championed a project with the Women's Coalition in Mbare, where we trained community members to be champions of child marriages. We are also working with the Zimbabwe National Council on Children's Welfare. We are working with UNICEF, a coalition for child marriages, and Shamwari Yemwanasikana happens to be chairing the capacity building team. We are also working with SAFEDS. They have a Men Engaged coalition that they have. And us as Shamwari Yemwanasikana launched our own Men as Role Models program, which is part of our achievements in July 2016. We're also working with other international partners. That is something that I would also want to highlight as an achievement. We are a member of the Girls Not Brides Foundation, and this year we'll be attending the Girls Not Brides International Conference in Malaysia. We'll also be sharing some of our best practices as Shamwari Yemwanasikana. We are a member of Women Thrive Alliance, Girls Not Brides, I've mentioned it. We are also a member of the Adolescents Coalition worldwide, and we also have the Shelters Coalition that is also international. And people would want to know why we are a member of the global network of women's shelters. It is because as Shamwari Yemwanasikana, we are in the process of establishing 2 empowerment centers, one in Murewa in Mashonaland East and the other one in Seke Rural. And the one in Seke Rural has already started off because we got funding from the US Embassy, and they have started doing economic empowerment projects where women and girls are doing reusable sanitary ware and also egg production. So we're setting up 2 empowerment centers, one in Mashonaland East and the other one as well, Mashonaland East, but in a different area. We have been given a lot of awards, Yemu, as an organization, and myself as an individual. So maybe I'll start with the awards that the organization has attained to date. We were awarded in 2014 by the World Children's Prize Foundation for having placed the child at the center of decision making. We were identified as one of the organizations who are really placing the child at the center of decision making. And the organization also was awarded in 2017 as the best teen organization in Zimbabwe. And also for that particular award, I was also given an award as an individual for teen development here in Zimbabwe. 2017 was really a good year. I was also awarded amongst the 100 great Zimbabweans who were named by Alpha Media Holdings, and I received an award for civil society, outstanding. I was nominated the Giraffe Hero in 2015 for those individuals who are sticking out their necks in ensuring that we are upholding human rights all over the world. I've also been chosen in 2017. There were 10 phenomenal African women who were chosen by the African Union, and I was nominated amongst those 10 in 2017. So those are some of the awards that I could mention that we have had as an organization and also as an individual. The World Children's Prize program that I have mentioned earlier has benefited more than 400 schools in Zimbabwe. And to date, we have trained more than 35,000 child rights ambassadors here in Zimbabwe, urban and rural schools. And these are children who are able to articulate their rights. They have become human change makers. They have taken the fight to empower other children on their rights a step further. So that's the program that we have been doing. And we have one of our children from our clubs, which are called Paushamwari Wedu. Her name is Kimberly. She sits on the International World Jury, which is governed by the World Children's Prize Foundation. So every year in April, this April will be going as well, we travel to Sweden to meet the Queen, the Prime Minister of Sweden, and also our ambassadors from the various countries that will be participating will be present, and Kimberly will be chairing that particular event. So I'll also be sharing the World Children's Prize Program magazine, which also features stories from Zimbabwean children. And our dear Kim is part and parcel of this magazine, and her story was also featured. Our networking has really helped us a lot in terms of achieving a lot, because we're also part and parcel of the Ministry of Women's Affairs, Youth and Gender, a campaign that they did when they launched the He for She campaign. They actually, after we had launched our Men as Role Models program that we highlighted. And we have also done quite well in engaging our traditional and religious leaders as custodians of our culture in terms of championing child marriages here in Zimbabwe. We are working with the US Embassy, like I highlighted. We're also working with Amnesty International for a sexual reproductive health rights project. We're also working with the World Children's Prize Foundation, and we will be working with Amplifying Change soon. There's a project that we will be doing with them, and also Egmont Trust, who are funding the project that we are doing in Murewa, where we are empowering children who are living positively, and we're also doing projects in that particular area. So there's a lot that we have managed to do, Yemu, and also the issue of having communities involved in our day-to-day running of the organization as a way of ensuring sustainability of the projects, the Shamwari Yemwanasikana project that we have started, so that at the end of the day, it's not only us who talk about our initiatives, even those in the communities talk about it. The policy makers also talk about it, the decision makers, everyone at the end of the day becomes part and parcel of what we are doing. In 2014, we actually launched a campaign where we were saying churches should unite to end rape in Zimbabwe. And it was quite successful, because we also realized that, you know, some of these things are just talked about, you know, when we go to these workshops, when we are on TV, when we're on radio. Why don't we also take these issues to the churches? And why the churches, everyone would ask, because that's where you would find the decision makers. The traditional leaders are there. Everybody is there. The girls we're talking about are there. So we felt for us to champion the issue of rape, we should then engage everyone, including the churches. And we've also even had the support of junior parliamentarians through the World Children's Prize program, because we feel they're the future leaders. If we start by capacitating them, then at the end of the day, we rest assured that the word would go to everyone. I'm sure 2015, 2016, we had about the human trafficking issue that also Zimbabwe was part of. I'm sure we heard about those women who were trafficked to Kuwait. And we also had part of our girls who were staying in an area called Sekiro in Mashonaland East, who fell victims of such. So we managed to mobilize more than 400 people in 2016 who had to march against human trafficking in Seke. And we've seen that it really helped spread the word that we should stop human trafficking, because indeed it's a crime. So I would safely say these are some of the achievements we have managed to do as Shamwari Yemwanasikana.
Wow, wow. And it's so encouraging to hear about all the things that you have managed to achieve within a short time frame since the founding of Shamwari Yemwanasikana. But I'm pretty sure that you have experienced a lot of challenges trying to build this organization. And so what we want to hear, what we want to know from you is, what are some of your pain points?
It hasn't been easy, Yemu, establishing an organization, being a woman as well, and also you are trying to change something that has been termed by a lot of people as the norm for a very long time. You and someone was actually saying, Ekenia, are you saying you're trying to challenge patriarchy? Is that what you're trying to do? So it hasn't been really easy for me. And, you know, I faced constant hostility from traditionalists and also some church leaders, who would really feel our work is a threat to their day-to-day activities that they do within their circles. And we've also seen that girls from traditional communities have been disciplined, and they've also been threatened against attending some of our meetings, because we normally hold community club meetings with the girls. And a lot of these traditional leaders and some of the church leaders were not really keen to allow their children to attend some of these gatherings. You know how it's like when you start giving girls their platform and someone is telling you, this is how we've been doing it since time immemorial. There is no way you can say a girl child can be given equal opportunities with the boy child. And with some areas that we are operating in, like Mutoko in Mashonaland, where in Mashonaland East, where culture is deeply rooted, a lot of these girls are not given the opportunity to go to school. A lot of these girls are married off when they are still young. And people often say, are these things still happening? Where also some of them, are taken to their aunts' husbands, where when their aunts die, what they call chimutsa mafiwa in Shona. Normally, and it's not even happening in those remote areas alone. I've also seen that even here in Harare, these things are happening, but at a different wavelength, where maybe they discovered that the in-law had a lot of money, he had a lot that was offering to the family. And when the sister dies, then everyone tends to say, you can go and stay with our in-law so you can take care of your sister's kids. But we all know it would be in disguise of having her to take over the sister's position. So I faced really a lot of hostility, and also even challenging some of the existent laws that are there, because we've also realized that there are quite a number of gaps that are there. In 2016, there was the Constitutional Court ruling that outlawed all child marriages that are below the ages of 18, and we've been part and parcel of these things, and it hasn't really gone down well with most policymakers and also most men, because I've also seen that, a lot of these men and boys, they are the perpetrators. And whenever we talk about such things, you don't really become popular. And I know a lot of the times I've also had messages that I saw on my Facebook page, inbox, on my wall, people just challenging all the fights that we are taking up as a way of promoting women's and girls' rights. So it hasn't been an easy road. And I think even with some of our extended family members not really appreciating it, that, is it true that what we are hearing, that you have decided to fight for women's and girls' rights? Why do you want to change things that have been happening the same way, growing up? So it hasn't been an easy road. But I would honestly say that it was mostly the traditional leaders, the church leaders, not all of them, but some policymakers, and also the community members, with some of them that, now you want our children to turn against us. Why are you teaching them about those rights? Are you also going to teach them about responsibilities? But the good thing is that you would see that in some areas, when we entered those areas, when we introduced the programs, the attitude has since changed until where we are today. The number of people who attend our community clubs is also increased. The number of traditional and religious leaders who are supporting us is also increased. And we've seen a lot of changes within our policymakers, and they've since started pushing for some of these policies to be put in place, especially the issue of child marriages that I was referring to. I think last week in the newspaper, in the Herald, we were advised that the Ministry of Justice has since started realigning some of these laws so that our girls are protected.
Wow. And what I'm happy about is the fact that the trials or the challenges that you're facing are not stopping you. They are, as much as they are hindering your progress, you still have the motivation and the energy to still want to press on. And that's where I think once you find your passion, hey, it doesn't matter how much, how many challenges you face, because it's your passion, you keep pressing, you find ways to navigate around those challenges, and you find people who are going to be able to support you. And sometimes it only takes one or two people who are willing to stand with you, and because they are willing to stand with you, you get the confidence you need to keep pressing. So, but the good thing is, what I'm hearing from you is, yes, we are facing challenges. Yes, we are still having issues, but we are making progress. And that's what, I think that's what even our audience will be happy about, to hear that, yes, the girl child, this movement, this organization you started, you're facing challenges as much as you're facing challenges, but there's a lot of good things happening, and our girls are being protected and preserved as a result of you not giving up and wanting to keep pressing ahead. And so, we've talked about how Shamwari Yemwanasikana was founded, the challenges that you're facing, and some of your achievements. But I want to hear from you. I want to hear from your heart what your dream is for a girl child growing up in Zimbabwe and even all of Africa for the next 10 years.
Yemu, I want to see girls who are fully empowered. I want to see girls who are able to walk in the fullness of their potential. I dream of a Zimbabwe that respects girls' spaces, and where girls are given the platform to speak out whenever their rights are violated. I want to see girls completing school. I want to see girls being in charge of the decisions that they make. I want a nation where there is a reduction in the senseless abuse against women and girls. I want to see a Zimbabwe which provides more opportunities for our girls, and also a Zimbabwe where men and boys become part and parcel of our model to ensure that women's and girls' rights are upheld. I want to see a world where there are no child marriages, where the statistics of rape are reduced, where there is no commercial sexual exploitation, where our girls access school up to university level. I want to see a Zimbabwe where our girls are at the center of decision making, and they be given the opportunity to become future leaders.
Oh, wow, wow. And I say, may God grant you the desires of your heart. Hey, we are all hoping, or we all hope for such a time when the girl child will be fully empowered to be the best version of themselves and to become whoever they feel called to be. And we will work together. We will support you in whatever way we can, to make sure that this goal is achieved. And I'm sure there are a lot of people out there, including men, who agree with you. As much as our society, sometimes we take time to embrace change, but I think there are many people out there, and you have seen it in your work, when you were touring the country, when you travel around the country, that they, as much as some people are taking their time to embrace change, but they are seeing value in the work that you are doing. So it's just a matter of time before everyone is on board, and they actually start to see the value that you are bringing to the community. And this is not just for a girl child. I believe that when a girl child is empowered, the whole family will be taken care of, because it's within us. We are naturers by nature. We love taking care of everyone, and so this is for our own good. And when we put the needs of a girl child at the forefront, the nation is also taken care of. And so I want to end this in a different way. What are the 3 things that you are most grateful for?
Yemu, firstly, I'm really grateful for my two beautiful daughters, Nenyasha and Natalie, because every time when I look at them, I feel that age to continue with my work to ensure that I create safe spaces for many girls out there, thousands of girls who still raise the notion to be empowered, who still raise the notion to see every girl child in Zimbabwe being empowered with their rights. So the girls are ever reminding me that I still way to go in making a difference in the lives of many girls, not only in Zimbabwe, not only in Africa, but also all over the world. So the two girls, my daughters, inspire me a lot, and I'm very grateful about that. I'm also grateful for the girls that I serve all over the world. It started off with Zimbabwe. I now have a lot of girls also whom I interact with and talk to on a daily basis regionally, internationally. So I'm also inspired by them. That trust that they have in me, that I can bring about change, that trust that they have in me, that I can make a difference in their lives, change the attitudes and behaviors of a lot of people, policymakers, decision makers, men and boys, everyone within their circles of influence. That also inspires me a lot, because I believe that anything for those girls without them can never be for them. And I know you say three things. There is my mom and my sister. And for my mother, I often say that she does not have a qualification that one would look at and say, oh, she's a social worker, oh, she's a lawyer. But she has really taught me a lot in life, to be resilient, to be hardworking, to remain focused. And above all, she taught me to be a prayer warrior. And that has really helped me to remain standing in the kind of work that I do. And my sister has always been a pillar of strength. She has helped me go through a lot whilst putting in place the organization. She has shared her experience that has also influenced me positively. And where she is right now really makes me believe in myself that I can be anything. If I believe that I can do it, then indeed I can be at the top of the world. And apart from the three things, I've really had a lot of support from my husband, Kevin. I know our work is a lot of work. I'm rarely at home. The kids need someone who's ever looking after them. I'm ever traveling. And, sometimes I have to work extra hours. And, even when I started the organization, it was not easy as well. But he has stood by me through thick and thin. He believed in me. He believed in the potential that I have, and he has always supported me. And yes, this is where we are today. He has really helped me a lot in realizing my dreams.
Wow, fantastic. What a way to end this interview. Thank you very much for your time. And if anything, I have been inspired. And not only be inspired, I have also been challenged to work hard and to also do my part in making sure that our girls are being taken care of, our girls are being looked after. And so if anything, I'm gonna urge the viewers of our program, people who follow us on YouTube and Facebook, that if it's really important for them to support such a cause and to rally behind one of our own who is doing a fantastic job in Zimbabwe. And it's not an easy thing, trust me, working in such a patriarchal society. It's doing a good job. She needs our prayers as well, so that she can be sustained and she can have the strength that she needs to have. Having said all that, I wish you nothing but the best and success in everything you're gonna be doing, and even as you are expanding into South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, or the nearby countries. I wish you the best, and we will try by all means to support you in whatever way we can in this, on this side of the world. But you guys are the ones who are on the ground, and we salute you for the work that you are doing. You're doing it not only for yourself, but for all of us, for the next generation. And your name is being recorded in history, that there is a woman out there, there is a woman that fought very hard for a girl child to be recognized, for a girl child to receive the same rights and recognition as the male, the boy child. And so thank you very much for your work, and we will continue talking, and yeah, we can't wait to see what the future holds for your organization.
Thank you very much, Yemo. It was a pleasure to be on your show. You can visit our Facebook page, Shamwari Yemwanasikana, for more information about the programs that we have, and how you can be part of them, or follow our Twitter handle at Shamwari Yemwana. And also we are on LinkedIn, Shamwari Yemwanasikana. And also we have a blog where we write stories of our girls whose rights have been violated. We also have a book that you can also come in and support by purchasing, which was written by a Zimbabwean who's based in South Africa, who's called Catherine Magodo Mutukwa. The book narrates a story, one of the stories that we actually handled within our Girls Protection Department, of a 15-year-old whose parents had died. And she was married off to a 45-year-old. And then she became a widow at the age of 18. And her daughter also was raped at the age of 15, and now is a mother to a 2-year-old girl. So we have a lot that you can also do in terms of supporting. You can buy the book online. I will share the details after the interview, or you can contact our offices to also buy the book so that you can also support what you're doing.
Thank you.